Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our data science workshop. This will be our organization's fifth workshop. I am thrilled to see many enthusiastic and curious minds gathered here today. Whether you're a seasoned data scientist or just starting your journey into the world of data, your presence, online or on-site, underscores the importance of continuous learning and collaboration in this ever-evolving field. Please remember that data science is more than just a collection of techniques and tools. It's a powerful means to uncover insights, solve complex problems, and drive innovation across industries. Today, our instructor, Dr. Yusuf, should I call him Joseph Danisman, ignite your enthusiasm and drive with real-world examples showcasing how mastering my Python and data science is not only feasible, but also beneficial for your field of study or specialization. Hopefully, by the end of this workshop, you will be equipped to embark on a self-paced learning adventure that will walk you through the fundamentals of Python and crucial data science principles. Additionally, our goal for this workshop is not only to introduce you to data analysis program Python, but also to foster a community where ideas can be shared, questions can be freely asked, and collaborative opportunities can flourish. So this event is organized by the Society of North American Scholars, also known as SNAS. I'm the president, this organization is formed by an interdisciplinary network of scholars in the United States. Our motto is to make a social impact. Like the worldwide famous poet and Islamic scholar Mevlana or Rumi, also known as, said, "Come join us." We will be hosting our third annual conference on October 11, 2024 at Western Connecticut State University, Danbury, Connecticut. Please register for this conference and submit your paper. The conference theme is a hot topic, which is the impact of artificial intelligence to higher education. I will add the link in the chat box here or in this Zoom meeting. And I encourage you to all to actively participate, engage with your peers, and make the most of this opportunity to learn and grow. Together, let's push the boundaries of what we can achieve with data science. Again, thank you for being here, and let's get started on this exciting journey. Please, Dr. Danishman, introduce yourself briefly and take it from here. Thank you.
Hello, thank you very much. So my name is Yusuf Danisman. I am an assistant professor in mathematics and computer science department at Queensboro Community College of CUNY, City University of New York. And today I will talk about how to learn Python and data science with self-paced learning. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to just share my experience with you guys. I obtained my PhD in mathematics, in pure mathematics, from Ohio State University. And it has been almost like 10 years, maybe more than 10 years, I have been working on data science related subjects. And I learned everything by myself, including the Python, data science, machine learning, and all the other stuff by myself. And I just want to share my experience, my journey with you guys. And if you have any question, you can just ask me anytime. And let's start slowly. First, let's start with the outline of this talk. So there will be two main parts. The first part will be about the Python. So I'm not going to teach Python or data science today. So I will just try to provide you some information, resources, and I will try to inspire you guys. So just increase your motivation to learn Python and data science or data analytics or machine learning by yourself. So in the first part, I will start with the introductory part. I will talk about little bit about the Python itself, advantages, disadvantages, how to install, how to write codes, how to read the codes, and how to execute the codes. Then I will talk about Google Colab. I think it is the best way of writing Python codes for a beginner. So I will try to give you enough information. So after this, right after this workshop, you will be able to start writing code in Python by using the Google Colab. And I will recommend some books and some YouTube videos, including some online courses about Python. And I also want to talk about the main subjects, Python subjects that you need to learn as a beginner. And then I will show you some code examples, and I will also ask from you to write your first Python code today if you have never written down any Python code before. And in the second part will be about the data science part. I called it data science, but you can say data analytics or machine learning. So I will try to talk about all of them together. So again, first I will give some basic information about data science and what you can do and what are the problems that can be solved by using data science. And for the ones who might miss the first part, I will talk about the Python a little bit again, but it's going to be very short. Then I will talk about the components of data science. And then the rest is going to be similar to the Python part, the books, the resources, the online sources like YouTube videos, online courses, and I will share you a couple more resources, including the hub and some other organization or institutions that you can join. And again, if we have time, I will try to provide some code examples so you can see how it is done with Python. I will try to build a couple of predictive models with Python, and you are going to see that it is not too hard and it is going to be short. And I hope this can help you to start a new journey in Python and data science. So we are going to start with Python part. So these are the subjects that I will try to cover. But before starting everything, I will give you 2 minutes. Just look at this code. This is a Python code. You might not seen any Python code before. Even you might not know anything about Python, but just try to find what the output of this code is going to be. I will give you 2 minutes. So it is like an English sentence, so it should not be too hard. At least you can make a guess. And please just post your answer in the chat box. Thank you. Everybody, please try to make a guess. So your guess might be wrong, so it doesn't matter. So we have, as you can see, the words are just from English words. There is 4 number in. We have like a sequence of numbers from 10 to 50. Then there is if number, a greater sign, 50, and print the number. So as you can see, it is very close to an English language or an English statement. Okay. So 1 more minute. Please, everybody, just try to find the output. Okay, thank you very much. So as you can see from this code, the Python is very close to English sentences, so or English statements. So it is not too, at least reading the code is not too hard in many cases. And even for some people, depending on your field, depending on what you are doing, even it might be enough to be able to read a code and understand what it does. So I think this code is a very nice example which shows Python. It might not be easy, but it might be easy to understand. So we will come back to this point again at the end when we are working on the code. So let's continue. So a small introduction. So it is one of the most commonly used programming language, and it was created by the Dutch programmer Guido van Rossum. So in the late 1980s, but it became popular a little bit late, but it speed up very quickly. And the name is not coming from it. It is not coming from the animal snake. So it comes from the BBC show, Monty Python's Flying Circus. So if you can read about this more on, for example, in Wikipedia. And it is a primary programming language for numerous data science applications. So this is the key part. And at the end of the first part of this workshop, you should be able to understand why it is important, why Python is important for data science applications. And the main reason is the libraries. So you can think the libraries as like a set of functions, tools, constants that you can use for your application. So Python has many libraries that you can use to do data analysis and to build models and to work on your data. So this is the key part. So advantages. So we have already talked about it, but I think this example is a nice example to compare Python and, for example, Java. So as I mentioned before, I do not claim that it is easy to learn a programming language, but at least I can claim that Python is easier than other languages because its syntax is really simple. So on the left, you can see a Python code. On the right, you can see a Java code, for example. And in both of these codes, it checks whether the integer 15 is an even or odd number. And as you can see, the Python code is really simple. And the main reason is instead of the parentheses, it uses indentation, so spaces. So this is maybe one of the most important advantages of the Python. The second one is it is free and open source. So that's why it is easy to get Python. So, and it has a very big community since it is free and open source. And sometimes it is claimed that since it is open source, its quality might not be very high. So it is for almost all of the libraries, it is incorrect because most of them are developed by major companies. So for example, TensorFlow was developed by Google, PyTorch was developed by Facebook. So being open source and free is a very big advantage. So the third one is it's a general purpose language, which means you can do almost whatever you want. So you can write a game code, or you can write a program for a store, or you can make games, you can build predictive models, you can do data science. So you can do almost anything that you want. And as I mentioned before, this is the main part for us for today, since we will talk about the data science part. So the libraries. So here you can see some very famous libraries. For example, NumPy for scientific computing. So you can find many tools in this library. And when you are writing your code, you can just call it from this library and you can use it. Statistics for statistic tools. Like, for example, just to mention a couple of simple stuff like the mean, median, and that kind of descriptive statistics, you can use the statistics, but it has much more than that one. Pandas for data wrangling and analysis, Matplotlib for visualization, Keras to build neural networks, Django for websites, to develop websites, scikit-learn for predicting, building predictive models. And there are many, many libraries. You don't need to learn all these libraries. What you need to learn is what you need. Okay, so there are many, many libraries, but it depends on what you are gonna do. You are gonna use some of them. And pandas is very commonly used one. NumPy, statistics, matplotlib, scikit-learn, these are very commonly used ones. The other ones are usually depends on what you are doing. But they are all very rich, very nice, easy to use, and they look like similar. If you learn how to use one of them, then the other ones are going to be in a similar fashion. And number 5, this is very, very important. So for the community support means actually finding answer to your questions. So this is very, very important. For example, there is a very commonly asked question, the language R or Python. The language R has many advantages, but one main advantage of Python is its community support. So you can find answer to almost all of your questions online. So this is a very big, very important factor. For example, I have been working on a R project recently. So it is so hard to find answers to your questions, especially if that question is very specific. So this is a very, very big advantage for Python. So of course, there are also some disadvantages. So most of them are very technical, so I'm not gonna go into details, but I just want to mention one of them, which is about the speed of Python. So Python is slower than the other, maybe not all of them, but many major programming languages. And the reason is the Python, it uses an interpreter. The other ones, they are using compiler. When they translate the code to machine language. I'm not going to go into details, and I'm going to share this presentation with you guys, and there is a very nice video here, so you can watch this video. Basically what happens is, in the case of Python, it uses an interpreter. It translates line by line, so line by line. So that's what, but in contrast, compilers, they take all of the code and translate it to machine language at the same time. So this makes a difference, and that's why Python is slower. But for a beginner, this is not important because it's gonna affect in big projects. But I strongly recommend you guys to watch that video. It's very nice. It is like cartoon. It is kind of a funny, but it explains the difference very well. And the installation. So now, if you want to write Python codes, you need to have a kind of editor to write your code, and you need to do installation of Python, unless you are going to use an online editor. And first, I'm going to show you a couple of editors or IDEs that you can install your computer, but my recommendation is using the online Python editor of the Google. It is great. It is easy to use. You just need internet connection, since it is an online Python editor. But first, I just want to give you a couple of IDEs that you can use, or editors you can use to write and execute the codes. So for Python installation, I strongly recommend you to use Anaconda. And it comes with all these packages, the libraries, not all, but the major ones. And it is easy to do installation. You can just search on YouTube to find a short video about how to install Anaconda. Then you are gonna have the Python and some editors. So the Anaconda is gonna look like this. And as you can see, there is PyCharm here. This is one of the most important, actually it might be the one of the most professional editors that you can use to write the codes. And the other one is the Spider here. Spider is free. PyCharm is free for students and educators. And Jupyter Notebook is here. It is also free. So you can use this 3 of them to write the codes. Also, you can also use the Jupyter Lab, which is similar to the Jupyter Notebook, but there are some differences. So you can use 1, 2, 3, 4 of these to write your codes. And I will just show them very soon. So the Spider and PyCharm, let me just show you how they look like. So this is PyCharm, sorry, this is Spider. So you write your code here, and when you run the code, you are gonna see the output here. And I think my PyCharm is closed. Okay, so let me just show you. So PyCharm and Spider, they look similar. So there is a large window where you can write your code like here. And when you run the code by using this button, you are going to see the output here. So PyCharm is also similar to that one. And the next one is Jupyter Notebook. The advantage of the notebooks in general is, let me just show you one of them. So their main advantage is, or let me just show you the dashboard. So when you click on, so this is the Anaconda, when you click on this launch, you are going to have this dashboard. And from here, for example, let me just choose, this desktop. So you can open a new Python notebook, Jupyter Notebook here. So the advantage of these notebooks is you are going to have cells. And you can write your codes in the cells. So you don't need to write one whole big thing like in the Spider or PyCharm. And as you can see, this is a cell where you can write your code, and you can have more of this. And so the advantage of that one is you are going to write a small code here, another small here, another small here. So it is like going to be like a pieces. And so I'm going to write codes here at the end. So we will come back to this point. But for beginners, my recommendation is to use Google Colab. So this is actually Google Collaboratory, and it's an online tool. And so it is cloud-based, and your files, they will be saved in your Google Drive. And it is recommended for beginners because you don't need to install anything to your computer. So that means you are not going to have any technical problem. So you are not going to have any like missing files, missing packages. So Google Colab is going to take care of everything, and it is fast also. And you can reach it from anywhere because your files, they will be in your Google Drive. So if you, for example, you can use your iPad, you can use any computer where you can reach your Google account, you can write the codes, you can reach your files, and also you can share them. You can also share them with the other ones, like the other Google documents. And for the installation of Google Colab, so when I say installation, you don't install it in your computer. So you install it in your drive. So let me just show you very quickly. So you will be able to do it, write the codes like maybe 20 minutes later. So what you need to do is, if you go to this plus new here in your Google Drive, you are going to see this, the very commonly used, the regular Google documents. And here there is also more. And here you can see a couple more Google tools, and Google Colab is here. But if you have never used Google Colab, it is not going to show up here. Then what you need to do is just plus connect more apps and search for Google Colab. and it is here. So mine is already installed. Just click on the install button and just install it. And as I mentioned before, you are not installing it to your computer. You are installing it to your drive. Then now you will be able to create a new Google Colab file in your drive. And as you can see, it is like the Jupyter notebook. You have cells. By clicking on this, you can have more cells. And you can write your code here. And whenever you click on this arrow, it is gonna run the code. Okay, so it is so easy. And now you have a notebook to write and execute your Python codes. And when I write code examples, I will give you more information. But it is also kind of similar to other Google tools like share here. The comment is here. And another nice thing about this Google Colab is actually about the cells is you can move them up or down. So you can change the location. So it is a great property that you can use when you organize your Google Colab file. Also, as you can see here, there is a code cell where we write the Python code. There is also a text cell. If you click here, you are going to see a text cell here. So text cell is to write some explanation. So for example, you can, let's say you are preparing like a lecture note. So here you can just include some explanation, some text to give information to your students. Or just for yourself, you can just write some notes here or explanation of some codes. Okay, so we have just talked about this and we have created a new Colab notebook. The cells, as I mentioned before, there are two cell types. Text cells to write explanations, explanatory text, and code cells to write the Python codes. And the text cell, it uses markdown language. Even I think it's a good time to write some code here. So let's go back to our Colab file. First of all, you can change the name. Just double click here. You can write, for example, my first notebook. Okay. And if you go back to your Google Drive, you are gonna see that its name is gonna change. So since it is online, so it might take a couple of seconds. And as you can see, it is here. Okay, so oops. Close this. So this is our text cell. So let's bring it up. Let's bring it up, and it is here. And we can write, for example, let's say, this is my first notebook. And this is like the output. So this is what you are going to see on the right. And so if you click outside, and this is what you are going to have. And you can do lots of different things here. And let me just show you a couple of examples. I don't want to go into too much details, but I'm going to share very nice books with you guys, so you can do lots of things here in text cells. So let me see. So let me just show you an online book. So this is an online Python book. I will talk about this later, but here you, in the very first part, you are gonna find a Google Colab chapter. And here you can see text cell section. And you can find many different things that you can do in text cell. So let's do a couple of them, for example. So the first part is about the heading. So let's do some heading parts. So for heading, we use the hashtag or the pound key. So for example, we can just write, so this is going to be like the chapter names or section names. So for example, let me just write A here. And this is a table of contents. You are going to see the A here. So this is the name of the chapter. Or let me just write chapter 1, so it's going to be easier to follow. So as you can see, this is the chapter 1. So let's have another text cell here. So now I'm going to use 2 headings. So this is the level 2 heading and with 2 hashtags. And now I'm going to just write like section 1.1. As you can see, this is a section of chapter 1. So let me just show you, add one more chapter here. So let's come to here, add a text cell and chapter 2. So I have not added any hashtag, so that's why it is not a heading. So now I'm going to just add 1. So it is going to be a level 1 heading. And as you can see, the level of chapter 1 and chapter 2 are same. So this is how we do the heading. And you can do center, bold. To make it bold, you can use double stars or double underscores. Let me just show you very quickly. For example, double star, USA, double star. And as you can see, it is bold. To make it italic, you need to use a single star. Okay, now it becomes italic. And let me just show you a couple more. For example, the size. Let's copy paste the HTML code. So the HTML codes, they are gonna work here. So let's make our text USA, for example. So the size is going to be 25. Okay. So you can organize your text cell by using all of these nice tools. And there are many of them here. You can make table, horizontal line, highlighting. So you can do many things. The coloring. So let me just show you also the coloring. Let's do coloring here. Another text cell. So it is going to be red. Let's say USA. Now it is red. And one more thing. So we also have the lists. So you can make like numbered lists or bullet lists. So let me do one of them very quickly. For example, 1.USA, 2. Germany. Okay. As you can see, the numbered list, you can see the output on the right hand side. I think this is enough. So there are many things that you can do to organize your notebook. But now at this point, let's go back to the Python coding part. So these are the code cells. And let's begin with the code that we have written before. So for number in we have a sequence 10, 20. Actually, this is called list in Python. Oops. And we have an if statement. If number is greater than 35, then print the number. So this is our Python code, and I'm going to just run the code here, and the output is here. Okay, so I will show a couple more examples, but now let's continue with the other slides, but we will come back to this coding part again. So if you have any questions, you can ask me anytime about this text cells, code cells, because I just want to be sure that you guys can use it just right after this workshop. Even like 20 minutes later, when I ask you to write a code for a question. Okay, let's see what is next. So what are the basic subjects? So this part is very important because Python is a general purpose programming language. So it has many topics. So one key point is, or one big mistake is, try to learn everything. So this is a very big mistake. So especially if you are trying to learn it by yourself, first focus on the main parts and do not lose yourself in the details. So what are the main parts? So there are 7 main parts. The first one is the variables, like the variables in math. Input output functions. Input is to get some information from the user, and print output function is the print function that we have already used in our code to display an output. The third one is the primitive data structures, like the numbers, for example 3, 5, 8, and the strings, which are the you can just consider them like the text or the characters, sequence of characters, like the names, for example. And conditionals, if-else statements. So we have already used here, for example. So this is the if statement that we have used. Iterations, the for and the while loops. So for example, here we are using the for loop. So the number is going to be each of these numbers one by one. So number is going to be 10, then 20, then 30. And in primitive data structures, so they are like the more complicated versions of the numbers and the strings. And the reason is the primitive ones, they can store only one value. For example, an primitive data structure, a number, in that case, is gonna have store only one value, like 25. But in many examples, we might want to store more than one value. And examples is also here. So if you look at that one, this is called list in Python. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So this in primitive data structures are to store more values. Even they can be mixed values, but the main reason of having in primitive data structures is to store more values, more than one values. And the functions, which is gonna avoid the repetitions in your code. Instead of writing the same thing or similar thing again and again, you can use the functions to make your program shorter and easy to read. So first you need to learn the 7 subjects, and you need to do practice a lot, of course, but try to so when you are working on them, even all of this, they have many details, so do not try to learn everything once. So just slowly, do not push yourself a lot. And actually there is no really time to learn all of the details, and you are not going to need them. So at first you just need to learn the basics and able to solve the basic questions or write short or medium level codes. After that, whenever you need, if you need, then you are going to learn the details and you are going to use that details in your code. But at first, do not try to learn everything because there are so many details. And
how long do you think should be dedicated to cover these early subjects?
So this is a very important question. The answer is it depends on your background. But let me just go over a couple more slides, then I will come back to this question again, because this is the most important question. Okay, so I will come back to that point. But this question can be answered only by yourself. So now I'm gonna just share some resources with you guys. So this is the Python for Everybody book. So this is a very nice book, simple. and it has all videos for free on YouTube or on the website, which is py4e. So you can just follow the book and the videos together. So it's a big advantage. And but the exercises are not good. So this is one issue about this book. And it uses an editor called Atom. So you don't need to use that editor that are used in these books or the videos that I'm going to share. So you can use Google Colab for all of this. But this is a very nice book. It has the book, it has videos, even the PowerPoint presentations. You can find all of them in the website. The second one is the book that I have just showed you. So this book has many advantages, and the main advantage of this book is it has so many examples. And let me just show you this book a little bit more. So for example, let's choose a chapter here. So for example, iterations chapter. So as you can see, this, iterations. So this is the lesson part. This is the lesson part. So debugging questions are here. Debugging question means there is a code and you are trying to find a mistake. There is a mistake, one or more mistakes in that code, and you are trying to find it. But when you try to solve these questions, do not run the code. Try to find it by yourself. The second question type is output questions. These are also very important to learn the coding. In these questions, you are going to see the code and you will try to find the output by yourself. Again, do not run the code. Just try to find the output by yourself. And the solution is here. So in this book, the solutions are given, but it is hidden. So you can just click on it to see the solutions. And the third question type is there's the coding questions. So the question is given and you are supposed to write the code. And the solutions are here. But don't forget, for these questions, there is no unique solution. Okay, so your solution might be different, but you can definitely use these solutions. And there are also some exercises here without solution. So this book has many exercises. So it is the advantage of this book. And there is also one chapter about the Google Colab, the text cell part, the code cell part. So you can find many information also about the Google Colab. So this is a very nice book. This book has, the first part is about the basic subjects that we have already talked about. And the second part has the projects. So this book has 13 projects. Couple of them are simple, like 3 or 4 of them are simple, but the other ones are kind of more complicated and it might be really useful. It is free. It is free. And for example, there is a project about the images. So it is a very, very nice project, for example. And since practice is very important, I think the questions, exercises, the workbook books are really important. And this book is a very old, kind of an old book. It has 60 questions with solutions. And it was free once, but it might not be free right now, but you can just check it. This is another one. That one has 42 questions. That book is free and it has the solutions. So this book has 81 projects. So some of these projects are really short or simple. So you can also say like the questions, exercises, and solutions. So that one has 81 of these. And one good way of learning coding is writing code for games. So if you have interest in games, so I think it might be a good way of learning the coding, or it might be a good way of improving your coding skills, because you can, everything is visual. It might be more fun. And in this book, you can find exercises about making your own game by using a very nice Python library for creating games, Pygame. And this is another one. That one used Turtle library. This is another library that is used to make not really the games. You can also make the games, but like the visually nice looking. If I have an example, I can just show you here. Oops. Let me see. I think it is not in. Yeah, it is not here. But you can create pictures, shapes, and even you can make nice small games, even complicated games if you can work on it. And on YouTube, you can find many game projects by using Pygame and Turtle. And I think I have one example. I can show one example by using Turtle. The advantage of Turtle is you can use it by using the Google Colab. Okay. So the third book is, I missed that book. Sorry. Thank you very much. So this book is, actually it is for scientists and engineers. Especially if you have a little bit background on coding, this book might fit you very well. It has many exercises, but the exercises are very technical. You don't need to know that field, but if you do not interest in that field, the exercises might be kind of boring. But I strongly recommend you to check it. If you have a background and if you want to work on challenging questions, that book is a really nice resource. So this is also one of my favorites. But either you can work on this book after having a little bit background on Python, or if you already have some background, or if you are an engineer or scientist, you can work on this book. Okay, let's see. And the YouTube videos. So there are a couple of them are YouTube videos which are my favorite ones. So this is the program with Mosh. So he is a great instructor. He has couple of videos, but the most commonly viewed one is like around 6 hours. But the first 3 hours are about the basics of the Python. His language, his method is great, so I strongly recommend for the beginners. He uses PyCharm, but you don't have to use PyCharm, so you can write that codes in Google Colab. It also has the 1 hour version, but I strongly recommend you guys to follow this video, the long one, and the first almost 3 hours. So this is another one, Bro Code. This is also very nice. Both of them, they are kind of an informal, but really nice videos. That one is long, so it is like 12 hours, but I don't remember exactly how long is the basics, but you can also check that one. It is also a very nice course on Python, and it starts with the installation of the PyCharm. So if you want to use PyCharm, I strongly recommend you guys to look at this video. And another thing is not only the installation and about the settings of the PyCharm, how to change the colors, how to make it look very nice, and you can choose your own colors. So at least if you want to use PyCharm, you can watch the first 10 or 15 minutes of this video. So data school, so this is for your small questions. So if you have small questions, you can check this YouTube channel. So he explains very well, very clearly. So Pygame, so this, you can create simple games, even more complicated games, but you can start with simple games by using Pygame. And this video is a very, very nice video. This guy, he was an undergraduate student, I think, when he made this video. It's a very, very nice video. The code is very simple. And don't forget, for all of these sources that I have shown to you, please do not copy paste any code. Write everything by yourself. It might be slow, but write it by yourself and try to make changes by yourself. Okay, and this is my last slide about the Python part, the recommendations. So I strongly recommend you to follow a book and online course. So the problem with online courses is, so there are gaps between the courses or between the subjects because they cannot cover everything in the videos. So I strongly recommend you to have one book, and in this book, as a beginner, just work on the most important chapters, not the details. First finish them, try to improve yourself on them, and as you need it, just learn more. And practice is the main part. Sometimes it might take too long. So sometimes you are gonna make a mistake. You will try to understand why there's a mistake. Be patient. Be patient. At first, it might go slowly, but whenever you get the main idea, it's gonna speed up like an exponentially. So just be patient and do practice. And do not, so avoid the long breaks, because as a beginner, you might forget it. So just try to work on the book or the lectures continuously. So just try to study regularly, practice regularly, and I strongly recommend you to focus on it at least 1 month. So you can finish maybe everything in like 3 months, but for 1 month at least, just focus on it more. And master the fundamentals. So start with the most important parts. And 3 subjects are the most important ones: the variables, conditionals, the if statements, and the iterations, for and the while loop. So these are the main parts. And after learning the basics, so try to do projects. I have already shared some resources about the projects. When I say projects, the games are also projects. So you can try to do games, or you can try to solve questions as much as possible. And I strongly recommend you to use Google Colab, because it is easy and it is gonna save you time a lot. So patience is one key point here when learning the coding. So if you encounter with a technical problem, it might decrease your motivation. So to avoid such kind of technical problems, I strongly recommend you to use Google Colab. And also join some Twitter groups focused on Python, because they share very nice resources, sometimes books, sometimes lecture notes, sometimes like a cheating sheets. So it is great. It might be a great source for you. And I strongly recommend you to join such groups. So these are the things that I want to talk about the Python in my presentation. So next we are gonna just work on some code examples. But before it, let me answer that important question. So how long it takes? So this question depends on your background. But the key point here is make your plan. Choose a book. And another important thing is, I have seen many people who changes the books or the videos. So first, just look at a couple of books, choose one of them and stick on it. So do not give up quickly. So just try to follow this book, and also some YouTube videos or online courses. But in my opinion, you should follow a book. And just look at this book. And after reading it a little bit, then you are going to have an idea about your progress. Then you make your plan. So it can be done in like 2 months. It can be done in 3 months. It might be done like in 6 months. So just make your plan. But as I mentioned before, you need to do practice regularly. You need to study continuously, and at least 1 month, try to focus on it. I hope you guys like this Python part, and do you guys have any question before starting writing some code with Python? Any question, anything that you want to ask?
Why do we need to use an editor like Google Colab rather than using the software itself?
Because it makes everything much more easier. So they have many tools. I have not mentioned it here, but if we, let me just go to the, so Google Colab has some advantages. Jupyter Notebook has some advantages. PyCharm has some advantages. And Spider, it also has some advantages, but yeah. So they have, for example, auto completion. They have table of contents. So you can, for example, if you are using Jupyter Notebook or Google Colab, you can move your code up and down. You can share them. So they have such kind of advantages. Okay, so, and user interface is much more better. So for example, where is our Google Colab? So for example, we are using this, and as you can see, we can use these tools that are available in these editors to make everything much more easier. So for example, let me just start just to show the auto completion part. For example, import. So let's import a matplotlib, for example. If you start writing it, as you see, it is gonna show you the options, and you don't need to write everything from the beginning. So it has they have many advantages, and especially the PyCharm is the most professional one. So for big projects, it has many nice tools to handle the big projects with multiple files.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's have a look at some codes here. And I will also show you a couple of more advantages of the Python. For example, let's try to import some data. So let's say we want to import stock data, for example. So first we need the library. So not everything is available. So why we have these libraries? The reason is this notebook by default, it has some tools. For example, I can do, for example, addition 4 plus 5. But it does not have everything by default, because if it has everything, then it's going to be slow. So the idea is we are going to have initially just the default tools, then you are going to import whatever you need. So to import the, for example, stock prices, I can use the Yahoo Finance library. So I'm going to just import it. Import my finance. So after importing this library, I will be able to use the tools in this library. And even I can do one more thing. Since Y finance is long, I can make it short as YF. So I can use the YF instead of the Y finance. Okay, so now I am able to use any tools after running this code in Yahoo Finance library. And in Yahoo Finance, Python uses a dot to go inside of a library ticker. And now I'm gonna just write the symbol of the stock that I want. For example, Apple, AAPL. And then dot, now inside it, I just want a history. So this is gonna provide me the historical data, historical stock price of the Apple stock. And as you can see, we have the data. And this is just 2 lines of code. It is just 2 lines of code. Let me show you another one, another example. Let's import pandas as PD. So pandas is one of the most commonly used library for data analysis to deal with the data. And now I'm gonna use in pandas, there is a very nice read HTML method that I'm gonna use. And I will try to import a table from a Wikipedia website. So let's find a Wikipedia website. And let me just, you can choose whatever you want. Let me just check one simple one, which has a table. Okay, so that one has a table, for example. So there is a table here. It is the list of presidents of the United States. So the table is here. So I'm gonna just copy paste the URL. So let's get it. And we just not need to put them in single quotes. And this is going to be the very first table in this website. And let's see. Okay, so we have the table, as you can see. So it is just 2 lines of code again. And we were able to import the table here to our notebook. And now we are ready to work on it. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is already 11. So let me just show you a couple of simple ones. Let's see. Let me choose, since I do not have too much time, or I'm gonna just go over with the codes that I have written before, just to show you some examples. So this is a code cell because it has an arrow here. And as you can see, we can also import a YouTube video. And we can run this, we can watch the YouTube video on our notebook. So when you click on this, it is gonna play it. And even you can make adjustments on the height and the width of this video. For example, if you are preparing a lecture note or if you are working on a subject, and let's say there is a very nice YouTube video, you can just import it here and you can watch it whenever you want and whenever you work on this notebook. So let's have a look at some simple examples. For example, this is a variable, h equals 25. As you can see, this is the variable. And we do an algebraic operation here. So there is a subtraction here. And the print function is gonna display whatever it has in it. So it's gonna display the statement. Your birth year is, which is here, and the birth year is 2024 minus 25, which is 1999. And let's see. So there's an if statement here. Age is 25. If age is greater than 30, then it is gonna display the young, and else it is gonna display the not young statement. And since this is false, it is gonna print that one. And so this is the for loop that we have just seen without the if statement. So this is the one with the if statement. And let's see. So let's have a look at this example. So this is a conversion formula from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And here the Fahrenheit is 100. So our variable, the name of our variable is Fahrenheit. And then we use the formula. We subtract 32 from the Fahrenheit and divide it by 1.8. So it becomes the Celsius. Then we round the Celsius to the second decimal place or the nearest 100. And we print it. So this is the 3 lines of code which converts a given Fahrenheit value to a Celsius value. Another example is here. For example, here we are trying to find the mean of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. And we import the statistics library first. Then from the statistics, by using the dot, we just call the mean function. And we just give the values, so it returns the mean of these 5 values. So the mean is not by default available in our notebook. So we need to import it from a library. So some functions might be available in multiple libraries. So the mean, median, you can find them in statistics library. So there is also, for example, math module. Since it is small, one file, it is called module. We can import the math, and from math library, we can, for example, call the value of the pi, which is, as you can see, 3.14 something. And similarly, we can call the E, the Euler's constant, which is 2.71. And here there's an exercise. I don't want to show you the, or let me just show you the very first part. Oops. Okay. So let me just give you like 5 minutes to work on this question. So even if you cannot write the code, just try to see how you can do it. Okay, so I will give you 5 minutes. So it is a continuous compound question. So initially we deposit $500 and annual percentage rate is 5.25 and it is compounded continuously. So the formula is here. So P is the initial amount, which is 500 here. E is the Euler's constant. R is the annual interest rate, and T is the year. And as you can see, after 10 years, so T is 10. R is it should be in the decimal form, so it is going to be 0.0525. And the P is the initial amount, which is 500. So just try to find this A. And in Python, multiplication is star. So we use the star for multiplication. So for example, 7 times 5 is 34. And for exponentials, we need to use double star. So this is 2 to the third power. Okay, so double star means exponential, 1 star means multiplication. So here we have P times E to the R times T. So we need to, so there are a couple of things we need to do. We need to do multiplication. We need to use the exponentials. And also we need the E. We need the value of the E.
Is that gonna come from a dictionary? Or
So you can
sorry.
import the E from the math module. So math module has the E. So just ask your questions. So if you're stuck, you can ask your questions so I can help you. So what you need to do is, first you just need to write your variables. P equals 500, R equals 0.0525, T equals 10. Then you need to write P times, then you need to import the E from the math module, and the exponential double stars, and R times T. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, so let's have a look at it together since we have a very limited time. So P is 500. So this is our variable. R is 0.0525. T is 10. It is 10 years. And this is the main part. So what is A? A is P times. Well, let me just make it a little bit larger. So this is P times, this is the E. So we need to import the E from the math module. So math.E. And as we have just mentioned here, so math.E is going to be that number. So that number is stored in math.E. And then for powers, exponentials, we need to use double star. So that double star is for exponentials. And the power is R times T. So we have our A, then we just use the round function to round the A to the nearest hundredth. And this is what we have. So is this code clear? Any question? So we started with 3 variables. Then we just do some algebra using multiplication and exponentials. And we import the E, the constant E, from the math module. This is what we done here. Okay, so this is end of the Python part. So any question, any comment, anything that you want to share about the Python part? Okay. And as I mentioned before, the key point is just choose a book, choose a video, YouTube video, but it is the YouTube videos or the online courses are usually they are like the supplementary. So the book is usually most important one because the books they usually have the whole thing and there is no gap between them. And focus on the main parts. Do not try to finish all chapters of the book. For example, one common mistake is the visualization part. So you don't need to know, so the visualization has many details. So you don't need to know all the parts of the visualization, for example. So at first it is enough to know just to plot simple graphs or charts. Okay. Great, so let's move to the second part. Okay, so the second part is going to be about this data science or data analytics or machine learning, whatever you want to call it. So you can just follow a similar path. So I have like 45 minutes. So first I will give you a brief introduction about the data science. Then I will talk about the components of data science because it is important to learn what you need. So what you need to study. And then the sources. Okay, so what is data science or machine learning? So there's a data and we are trying to learn from the data. This is the key point. And we want to interpret the results. So we are going to get some results and we should be able to interpret these results for our actions in the future. And we will try to work on the data. So there is a data and we are trying to understand this data. And if it is not in a nice form, just transform it, work on it to make it in a better form. And after that, try to extract information from it, build predictive models by using it, or build different models for different purposes that we are going to talk. So what can be done? So there are many things, but these are the main tasks that can be done in data science. Classification. So predicting categorical outcomes like spam detection, whether an email is a spam or not, or disease diagnosis, for example, positive or negative, or it is like a benign or malignant. Regression or estimation, so which is predicting a continuous outcome like the house prices, like the stock prices, like percentage changes, profits. The next one is dimensionality reduction, so reduce the dimension of a high dimensional data. So this might be important for a couple of reasons. One of them is like for visualization, because we can visualize 1, 2, or 3 dimensions. So we can try to reduce the data into smaller dimensions to visualize it, or to make it better for machine learning algorithms that will be used later. And in some data, they might have high dimension, but that's high dimensionality might not provide extra informations. So we are going to do this dimension reduction when we were able to reduce the dimension, and also when we do not lose too much information. So these are the key points. Clustering, so grouping, so it is another important task that can be done. And anomaly detection, and like the fraud detection, this might be important. And so, for example, these are some examples. Identifying the zip code from handwritten digits. So if I have time, I will give you code for this example, for example. So on the left, we have pictures of these handwritten digits, and the task is to classify them. So this is a classification question. So this is from a picture or image to determine whether a tumor is benign or not. This fraud detection. Identifying topics in a blog post or in a set of like the articles or like the reviews. Recommendation systems. Predicting the revenue. So these are really important ones. So the main 2 languages are Python and R. And so in this workshop, we are talking about the Python. Maybe in the future, we can talk about the Python, but Python is one of the most commonly used one. You can also see it from this survey. And so I'm going to skip this Python part because we did not give a break, so we just continue. And the components. So this is the important part, because when you if you want to study data science, first you need to know what you need, because there are many different components, parts, or branches. So first you need to know what you need. So the components are usually Python for data science. So this is again Python subjects, but the Python subjects that you need for data science. So if you really want to use Python in your data science projects, you need to know these subjects very well. So I will try to talk each of them a little bit in later slides. So, but this Python for data science part is very important if you are going to use Python in your applications. So exploratory data analysis, data science, machine learning, domain-specific applications like finance or health or geography, advanced topics like the neural networks or NLP, natural language processing, and calculus and the linear algebra are the math subjects that might be needed, and probability and statistics. So first of all, I just want to mention it. You don't need to use, for example, the theory, maths, statistics to do most of the things. So the key point is going to be first learn the learn how to use them. After that, the intuition part. After that, depending on your background, the theory part. So again, as I mentioned in Python, but it is more crucial at this point in data science part. Don't try to learn everything all together at the same time. So it is overwhelming and it is too much. So first learn the basics, then depending on your background and depending on your needs, learn more. But do not try to learn everything. Do not try to learn all details. So for example, I'm going to show you some machine learning algorithms. They are going to have so many parameters. So you don't need to learn all of these parameters. So just slowly. First, the very important couple of them. Then if you use it again, then a couple more. Then if you use it again, just try to learn a couple more. And if you need them. And I will share some books very soon in which you are not going to see any math or any statistics, any probability. But learning the details is, of course, important, but do not force yourself. So just to give an idea, when you are trying to find your path, let's say, in learning data science, I'm going to share the curriculum of an AS degree of a community college. Then I'm going to share a BS degree. And after that, I will also share a curriculum of a bootcamp. So you can have an idea about what, which components are in this curriculums. So this is a 2-year AS degree from a community college. So as you can see here, if you look at it carefully, you are going to see that there are 2 programming courses. One of them is Introduction to Programming. This is actually what these basic subjects are that I taught in the first part. And the second one is Advanced Programming Techniques. So it is like the more advanced, usually object-oriented programming subjects. So these are the 2 programming courses in this curriculum. And data science. There are 3 courses here: data analytics, data science, and machine learning course here. So there are 3 of these. And these are the math courses. As you can see, calculus 1, 2, and pre-calculus. So discrete mathematics, probability statistics, linear algebra. So in general picture, what you need is some calculus information, linear algebra, probability and statistics, the basics of the Python, and more advanced tools, subjects of the Python, and data analytics, data science, and machine learning subjects. So I will talk about these 3 of them after these curriculums. But you don't...
Müsaade olursa soru sorabilirim.
Yes.
Machine learning dediniz. Data science, machine learning data science'ın bir parçası mı yoksa ayrı bir alan mı?
Okay, I will answer this question very soon. Okay, just be patient a little bit more.
Can you make the question in English, please, like when you're responding it,
Okay.
for the records?
Okay.
Thank you.
I will do it. So the question is basically what is the whether the machine learning is part of the data science or not. So we will come to that point. But first, I just want to show you the components. So I'm gonna just give more information about them later. But do not forget, you don't need to know calculus or probability or statistics to learn how the machine learning algorithms or data science tools they work. If you know them, of course, it is going to be much more better. So this is a BS degree. So this is a 4-year degree program. And so these are the computer courses here. And these are the data science courses. And these are kind of like more advanced courses here. So there are, you can see there are 3 different parts. The math part is almost similar to the AS degree, the calculus, linear algebra, probability, and statistics. And here, the yellow one, this yellow one is the basics of the Python. And so these 2 yellow ones are the Python for data science. So the names might be different, but what they are is actually Python for data science. And as you can see, there's an introduction to data science part is here, visualization course, machine learning course, data mining course. So when you are making your plan, you can look at these curriculums and you can try to understand what you need. And a boot camp. So this is from the Flatron School. So they have 5 phases. The last one is about the project. So I will just talk about the first 4 of them. The phase 1 is Python programming for data science. And so this part is phase 1 is the basics of the Python and Python for data science part. The second one is scientific computing and quantitative methods. So this part is like the statistical parts and the probability parts are here. The third one is machine learning part. And the fourth one is the more advanced machine learning subjects. So this is how I think most of the bootcamp curriculum, they look like that one. So now let's talk about what all these are. So Python for data science is, these are the Python subjects that you will need for data science projects. So data frames, which is the main data structure of the pandas library, and it is a 2-dimensional data structure labeled access for rows and the columns. Actually, we have already seen it. Where is it? So this is the data frame. So it is like a Microsoft Excel worksheet. So most of the data is in that form, so that's why they are very important. So if you are going to use the Python in your applications in data science, you need to know the data frames very well. And data loading, wrangling, cleaning, transformation. So these are all about how to make the data in a better form. So if it is in a better form, then the success of the machine learning algorithms on this data is going to be better. And plotting and the visualization, like the tables, charts, the graphs, how to deal with the time series, but just by using the Python, so not advanced models. And NumPy. NumPy is another library. It is like the scientific, for scientific operations, it is really important. And it is also a part of the Python for data science courses. So these subjects are gonna give you the information that you will need to do data science or data analysis projects by using the Python. So for the Python part, first the basics, then this Python for data science subjects. So you just need to know these 2 pieces. So exploratory data analysis. So I'm not going to go into too much details, but I'm going to just provide a couple of nice books about this. Basically, this is about the initial exploration of the data. So finding the problems or finding the trends, just trying to understand the hidden structures or underlying patterns or connections, like the correlations in the data. So visualization and statistics tools are important at this point. So data analytics and the data science parts. So right now there are many overlaps between them, but the main difference is, as you can understand from the name, that's the science part. The data science uses more like theoretical parts, like the more statistics, more math. Okay, and I think I missed. So machine learning. So there was a question about machine learning and the data science. I think I missed one of my slides here. Okay, so the answer to that question is you can think. So machine learning, you can do the machine learning without using any theory, and we are going to do it at the end. So you can just choose an algorithm and you can use your data to build a model. So this is what machine learning. But when you are doing this, if you use the theory, if you use the math, statistics, then this is going to be the intersection of the data science and the machine learning. Okay, so whenever you say something is part of data science, so the answer is whether you have a theory or not. So if you use the theory, then yes. Okay. So deep learning neural networks are some and natural language processing. So these are two very big advanced topics in data science. So these are really two very important advanced topics. But first, work on the simple, what we call is classical machine learning algorithm. Then work on these two. Okay, so do not jump into these two directly. So the courses. So Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley has a very nice course. Its name is Data 8. And it does not require any kind of prior knowledge. And this course is a real course in the college, and it is open to all majors. And the only prerequisite is high school algebra. And its documents are, almost all of them are open, free and open source, so you can use them. And as they also use the Python, so you can also learn the Python, at least some parts of the Python in this course. Especially if you are coming from if you are not coming from like engineer science fields, this course might be really useful for you, and it is for absolute beginners. They have many nice tools, and for example, they have a Google Drive folder where you can find the worksheets, solutions, the textbook, assignments, exams, so you can find all of them here. So it's a very nice course for beginners, especially for non-engineers and non-scientists, let's say. Yes, so this book is Python for Data Analysis. So it's a nice, very nice book. So it is free, and you can learn data frames, NumPy, how to deal with the data, plotting, visualization, and more subjects from this book. This is a very nice book, but so these books are usually like 400 pages, most of them. So just study the part that you need. For example, do not try to finish all the book when in your first try. So just go over the basics and make a plan. Make a plan and do not copy and paste the codes. So in most of the books that I'm going to share, the code examples are all available online for free, but do not copy paste them. You can look at the code examples, but do not copy paste them. Write all the code by yourself. So this is the R version. So I'm gonna skip this. So there is if you are gonna do exploratory data analysis, there is a free, very nice, but kind of technical book about exploratory data analysis. And this book uses the famous exploratory data analysis book, which is here. And if you have a special interest in EDA, you can have a look at this. And this is the Python version. This is the Python version of EDA. And this is my favorite book. So this book is very, very nice for absolute beginners who wants to learn data science or machine learning. It has no math, no statistics, and its language is really simple. The code examples are really easy to understand. I think this book is the far away the best beginner's book in my opinion. So I strongly recommend this book. And that one is my second favorite book. So this book has more details, more math, and more statistics, but not too bad. So it is not very complicated. So I always recommend my students to first finish this book, then work on this book. So this Jerome's book has two parts. The first part is about the classical machine learning algorithms, and the second part is about the neural networks. So the second part is kind of technical, and it is for the ones who really want to learn the neural networks, and it uses the Keras library. But the first part is, if you can finish this book, Müller's book, and the first part of the Jerome's book, then you will be able to understand all classical machine learning algorithms very well. So this is another machine learning book. Its language is really simple, and it is kind of very informal. It has very nice pictures, funny pictures, kind of funny pictures, and so it is very good for the intuition. Now the theory part. If you want to learn the theory, I think a very good starting point is the book of the Yasser Abu Mustafa. So this book comes with the free course videos. You can find them on YouTube or on their website. So I think they have like 14 or 15, almost like 90 minutes lectures on YouTube. And the book is also free, except the very last chapter. And you can find all PowerPoint presentations in the website. You can also find the assignments. So if you want to start learning the theory, this book is great. For some people, it is like old-fashioned, but in my opinion, it's a very, very nice book if you want to start working on the theory. So now, this book is in an advanced level about the theory. This is again advanced level with the theory. And that one is if you have an interest in, for example, stock prices, the prediction of the stock prices, or some financial questions, this book is very nice. It also provides the AI subjects and the field subjects, and then starts building models. And its code examples are very, very nice, and it explains line by line very clearly. And also it has a part about the algorithmic trading, which is, in my opinion, a great chapter. So if you have a special interest in finance, you can have a look at this book. So this is the advanced version of the financial machine learning. And this is the data set slides and the projects. So after learning so in these books, you are going to see lots of data sets. My recommendation is start with the most commonly used data sets. So you can find similar projects online, so you can compare your results. And do not start with the big data, because big data means you need to also deal with this large amounts. So do not lose time with that one. So start with small data sets and commonly used data sets, and try to work on it first by yourself as much as possible. And after that, just search on the Google for the projects that have been done on the same data set and compare your results. And the courses. So this is a very nice course about data science. Actually, this is not really a course. It is like 6 hours. I think the main purpose is like the commercial, but it is like the 6 hours version of what I am doing right now. So it gives more information about almost all major subjects of the data science, and with nice examples. So before starting everything, it might be good to look at this video to have a general idea of the data science. So Andrew Engine, so he has a very nice YouTube channel, and in this series there are 41 short videos. He also has a short book, like 150 pages, for free. You can also find it, but he explains very nicely. So this is IBM complete course. It is free. There's another nice data science course that can be followed. And so this is one of my favorites, StatQuest. So it's a very nice YouTube channel. So it is created by some professors, including George Stammer. So you can find explanation of statistical subjects, some mathematical subjects, probability subjects, and machine learning data science subjects in a very nice language, very funny, and it explains very clearly with very simple examples and with colorful pictures. So you can have a look at that one also. But do not forget, you cannot learn the whole thing from these YouTube channels or videos, because there are big gaps between the videos. So as I mentioned before, choose a book and first work on the main subjects. So Syntax, so this is also a very nice YouTube channel, not only for data science subject, also for the Python subjects. So when I first learned the Python, I learned from him a lot, actually. And this is a hub that I want to share with you. So there are many sources in the website of this hub. Its name is Northeast Big Data Innovation Hub, and there is a National Student Data Corps part in this hub, where you can find many books. Even let me just show you videos. Yeah, it is here. They organize many events, competitions, talks. And so as you can see, they have projects, symposium, the central. They should have some video libraries. So they have many sources here. Okay, so this is a video that I also want to share with you. This is a discussion from 1973. So the Light Hill debate on artificial intelligence. So one big problem when learning data science is sometimes you might lose your motivation. So at that point, it is good to watch some TED Talks or podcasts or watch such kind of YouTube videos. So they are gonna, I'm sure they are gonna increase your motivation. So this is one of them. This is very nice, and it is from 1973. So you can see what people are thinking about the AI in 1973s. Okay, recommendations. So there are many recommendations here because data science is a very big subject. So first you need to have a plan. So what you are gonna do, what you are gonna learn. So you cannot learn everything. But my recommendation is first, so if you are gonna really do machine learning with Python or data science with Python, first learn the Python for data science subjects, especially data frames. Choose a book and some online supplementary courses. If you are not interested in ML part, machine learning part, then you can just follow the Data 8, that University of California, Berkeley course. But if you have an interest in machine learning, then you can first start with the Müller's book, then Jerome's book. Then after that, you will be able to choose what is going to be next by yourself. And start with familiar data sets to compare your results. And do not focus too much on theory, especially if you do not have enough background. So do not focus on the theory because it is really complicated and it might be time consuming. So after completing the main parts, then if you have time, then you can start working on these parts. Another mistake is do not lose too much time with the visualization. So visualization is very time consuming most of the time, and it has no limits. So you cannot stop yourself if you want to learn all these details. So just start with simple visualization tools, but improve yourself, but do not go very fast. But if you really need, then you can learn whatever you need, but do not try to learn all the details. And another important part is read the documentation and try to be familiar with the documentation, the official documentation. So what I meant, so let me just show you an example. So for example, this is the decision tree classifier. So this is the official documentation. So for example, here, as you can see, there are many parameters or hyperparameters here. So some of them are very important, some of them might be really detailed. So you don't need to know all of this at first. So just learn the most important ones. Then by the time you can learn more. And try to be familiar with these explanations because this is the official documentation. You can find the most accurate information here. So just try to visit this official documentations again and again, and each time try to learn a little bit more and try to be familiar with the language.
I want to say one quick thing, just a quick plug here. Our last year's research method workshop was on data visualization and decision trees. So that might be one place interested parties can take a look at. It's on YouTube, our YouTube page. So,
Okay.
sorry for the interruption.
No, it's great. Thank you very much. And also in the official documentation, you can find very nice examples here, simple examples about how to use these tools. And also, as you can see, there are many details here. So don't try to learn all of this, just the parts that you need. And at the very end of this website, you are going to see the gallery of examples. And here you can find mostly complicated examples. Some of them might be complicated, but these are very nice examples. Whenever you feel yourself comfortable, you can also work on these examples here. but at first they might be complicated for you. So do not force yourself too much at first point. But by the time you will get used to it, and as you improve your skills, then you will be able to work on these examples also. Okay, the hub, and we have already talked about this Twitter groups. The Twitter groups are really nice. You can get lots of new resources and update information. So I strongly recommend you to join such groups. And the TED Talks podcast, we have already talked about it. And yeah, this is the end of my presentation. I hope you guys like it, and I hope it was you find what you are looking for. And if you have any question, I think we have 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes for the questions. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much on the behalf of the SNAS, Society of North American Scholars, Dr. Danishman. This was a very valuable workshop. You basically talked about all the resources that we need to learn for the data sciences, as well as Python. This is a great introduction in terms of identifying the valuable resources and other basic understanding of this new rising phenomena. In fact, I would love to mention here, maybe it might be a great idea for you to present some paper for the next coming or conference, the impact of AI into a higher education. That might be a great topic for you to tell us about what kind of how the AI, the artificial intelligence, can be really impacting when it comes to data analytics as well as data analysis. Again, thank you very much. We would love to see you hopefully for the future workshop, maybe as an extension of this, or maybe in other topics. This presentation will be made available on our YouTube channel. I want to thank Dr. Topaloğlu, so that he will make this this record will be available to all of you guys. Thank you very much for everyone to participate.
Are we gonna take questions? Maybe there are some questions. Do we have any questions, or should we close?
So
I think go ahead.
Do we have any questions? I was hoping to ask a quick question.
Sure.
If we have a few minutes.
Yes, we have time. We have 7 minutes.
All right. So my question is, so the next step. So let's say we work on the basic subjects, and we want to further our data science knowledge. Do we go into some of these specific areas? Let's say data visualization, or you mentioned NLP and some other things, or is this like, let's say I'm a marketing professor and I want to find employment in industry, and there's like some, let's say there's a company that does customer application, customer relationship management, things like that. Do I focus on those specific contexts to improve my knowledge, so as the second step on top of the basic knowledge, or do I just focus on some areas that you mentioned? I don't know if it made sense.
Yeah, no. So it is a great question. So it is actually the next step.
Yeah.
So first the Python basics,
Right.
then Python for data science. So then the basic data science subjects. Now you have all the basic information. So now you want to do something. So what are you gonna do? So the answer is depends on the field. So first of all, the field that you are gonna work. So first you need to check what have been done here. So that literature review is very important. So which models have been used, and which tools are used. Then you need to see what you need at this point. For example, let's say in this area let's say one type of neural networks is used and it is very successful, then you need to focus on that part. So you need to learn this model, but it is going to be easy for you at this point because you already know, you have the idea about how the models are working. So you are going to just learn a new model, but the codes are going to be really very similar. So you just need to learn the idea of this new model, and plus, so the model, and also how the data is prepared in that field. So you just need to check again the literature to see how the data is prepared. Then you need to learn the tools that are used in that field. And whenever I say tools, so there are many tools. So in the basic level, you are going to learn the main ones, but depending on the field, there might be very special ones. So you just need to learn the tools. Then you just need to find a project that have been done before, like a paper. Then you are going to have an idea about how to do something new or something similar.
One other question really quick is, you showed us a data science curriculum. In my university, we are trying to get a curriculum together for data science undergrad degree. Was that from your university? I saw some math classes, some computer science, some electives from business economics. Like, which department houses that degree?
So
I'm
showed,
curious about that a little bit.
So I showed two of them. So
Yeah.
this is the AS degree, 2-year degree. So this is the 4-year degree program. So 4-year, if you look at the curriculums, I can show you like maybe 10 of them right now. I have 10 different of them, since I'm also working on these curriculums, these courses right now. They are really different. They are very different. In business schools,
So it's
the
not
curriculums
necessarily
are
under
like
business.
more uniform. They look each other more, but in other departments, for example, let's say in one college, let's say computer science departments, data science program, and in a different college, they might be very different. Some of them are very theoretical based. They might have very like statistical courses. They might be using very statistical tools. Some of them might be very applied. So it changes a lot. So here the question is what you want to do, how much theory you want, and how much field specific topics you want. So this is the main question. So if you look at the curriculums, you are going to see that they are very different from each other. So the main question is what you want to do in your college. Okay, so there is a question. So let me just show you very quickly that one. So I did not have too much time, but so this is the data. This is the digit data set that I was talking about. So in this data set, the picture of each handwritten digit is 8 by 8 picture. So 8 times 8, there are 64 numbers for each picture. So that means this data is like 64 dimensional because each picture has 64 different numbers. And here I use just the SNAS algorithm, and this algorithm is for dimensional reduction. So here the algorithm reduced the dimension from 64 to 2, so we can do the visualization. So it looks like that too much difference, 64 dimension to 2 dimension. So you can also check whether you are losing too much information or not, but let's see how the clustering is going to be. So look at here. So each point here is in 2 dimension, and each point represents a picture of a handwritten digit, which is originally 8 times 8, 64 dimensional. And as you can see here, this algorithm works very nice on this data set, and it can find the clusters very nicely. Of course, there might be some small mistakes, and these mistakes they might not be because of the model, it might be because of the data that we have. For example, some of the handwritten character digits, they might be very close to each other. So there might be some small mistakes, but as you can see, it finds the clusters very well. And here we are using the SNAS from scikit-learn that manifold. And we reduce the dimension to 2. So that means reduce the dimension to 2. And we give the data. It works with the data that is given, which is here. And it transforms the data from 64-dimensional space to 2-dimensional space. Okay, I hope it is clear.
Thank you so much. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think it is 12 p.m., just 1 minute over. Again, on the behalf of the SNAS, I really would love to, thank you for your contribution to our workshop. And this record will be available on the SNAS YouTube channel. And I want to thank everyone for their participation and attendance to this, workshop. See you at the next one. We will inform you.
Thank you very much. Bye.